والهجرة الانتقال من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام. والهجرة فريضة على هذه الأمة من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام، وهي باقية إلى أن تقوم الساعة. والدليل قوله تعالى: إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا. إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان لا يستطيعون حيلة ولا يهتدون سبيلا، فأولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم وكان الله عفوا غفورا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video. So I am driving through an area. We just pulled over to make the prayer. They call the Adhan, but we're in an area called Hijrah in Sharjah. So the most beautiful thing that we noticed was the streets named after the NBA. Right now we're sitting on Prophet Yahya Street, but we have driven on Prophet Saleh Street and also Prophet Isa Street. Alayhim salatu wasalam. Beautiful. And I'm almost positive this is an extremely religious area to name the streets by the NBA. This neighborhood actually reminds me of an upscale Yemen, I would say. Very traditional. The villas here are ardi, they're one level, but across the way there's another neighborhood called, is it Suwayhat? I think it was Suwayhat. No, Suwayhat is down the road. Wait, let me remember. Tala'a. Okay, yes. So Tala'a is across the way from Rifa'a. And Tala'a has 2-story villas. The Rifa'a is 1-story. And like I said, the streets are named after NBA, so it's so beautiful. I love to see these sort of things, and they're masajid everywhere you turn. I'm going to put some footage in from our driving just to show you, but it's beautiful. I love it. These are the areas you would like to. It's very communal. Look, I'm watching the members go to the masjid and they're waving at each other. They know each other, and this is where you meet people. Actually, you meet the community members at the masjid. They get to know who lives here, by praying together and things like that. Of course, the pandemic has stopped the classes, but in these areas there are usually classes after Asr in the masajid for Quran, because Quran is a part of the curriculum in the schools here, in the government schools as well as the private Arabic schools, which I suggested those who really want their children to learn the religion and the Arabic language, they should register their children in the Arabic schools here. But it's a beautiful thing to see. Warms your heart. MashaAllah. So we've also ridden past a street called Taqwa Street and also Tawheed Street. tells you a lot about the neighborhood, mashallah. So we took a drive through these beautiful Sharjah areas. I can't remember which one is which, so if I remember, then you'll see them pop up on the screen as we enter each one. But from them was Rifa'a. I believe the whole entire area that we were in was called Wasit, Sharjah. And within Wasit, there are multiple neighborhoods. So one of them was Rifa'a, another one was Tal'a, another one was Manfaja, and Raqiyya, Ramaqiyya. Yeah, that's what it's called, Ramaqiyya. And then there was I have to go back through the notes. I absolutely forgot. But there were quite a few, and some of them had 2-story villas, and then you had Rafa'a, that was the leveled villas, 1-floor villas. Remind you of Yemen, one level, nice all the same, but 1-level villas. But the feeling of the area was so nice. I mean, you see so much greenery, trees, grass. It's very, very comforting, very neighborhoody. I don't know if that's a word, but very comforting. Children playing about, minding their own business. You can tell it's very community oriented. Everyone knows each other in each area. You attend the masjid, and they're familiar with you, of course, by you praying in the masjid. Very safe. The children were playing in the streets as if they were not accustomed to cars flying through the area, which is always a good thing. Children able to play freely. So these areas are really good. And Suwayhat, yes. Suwayhat was another. Yeah, Suwayhat was another area. So if you want neighborhood and villas, then those are the areas that I suggest. In Sharjah, it's really good for you. I'm sure they have villas of different prices. It looks like most people are homeowners. So you will probably have to find someone who is renting out their place, or go to a realtor that deals with these suburban areas in order to catch something. But it was a lot. I think this is what I think. When people come here, if you don't know anybody, then of course you just go to the condo apartment buildings, the tall apartment buildings, crammed in the city with everyone else, where all of the action is. But if you want a more peaceful life, then you will go to the suburbs, and oftentimes you would have to know someone who tells you about these areas in order for you to actually find them and move to them. But there's a lot of religion in these areas, and like I said, I think it's definitely. I think all suburbs are pretty much good for children. So overseas suburbs there's no difference, in the effect that you would have being raised away from city life. Pretty much go to the city to do your recreation and your activities and things like that. You go to the mall or whatever activities they have going on, and then come back to the suburbs. But most people, when they first come, they go to the most crowded parts of the city because you don't know anyone. But these areas are worth checking out. I think it was just so nice. They had parks. Each borough had a park, a huge park, where the children play soccer. They had basketball courts. They had a playground for the small children, swings, sliding board, monkey bars, things like that. Very nice. You see the women walking in the baby carriages and things like that. Very safe for the women in a hijab to walk. You see people taking a stroll, a jog. Very comfortable. Just like any other suburban area, We have suburbs, of course, in the United States. I'm sure every country pretty much has a suburb. So definitely get that suburban feel. But I think those neighborhoods are worth giving a try if you want the religious / conservative religious suburban vibes. It reminds you of Saudi Arabia and also Yemen at the same time as it relates to the religiosity. I absolutely loved it. So, and I think I mentioned about Dubai. When you go to Dubai, then also suburbs. I'm going to cover some of the suburbs of Dubai as well. Another suburb in Sharjah is called Siyuh. I didn't feel like driving to Siyuh because it was pretty far on Google's map. When I looked it up, I didn't feel like driving that far. These areas were closer to where I am in Ajman, and that was another benefit. It's on the mouth of Ajman, like Ajman meets Sharjah, the suburbs. It's awesome. But so from my understanding, there are a lot of new villas out there, a lot of greenery, lots and lots of greenery, and created like it looks like a forest. It looks like to me from the pictures, but you definitely have to have a car. So another thing I noticed in these areas, you don't see a lot of corner stores. Like the bakalas, you don't see a lot of corner stores. You have some here and there. Of course, you have pharmacies. I'm sorry, but you need a car, definitely. You need a car. And the corner stores that are, I'll say neighborhood stores. They're not corner stores. Neighborhood stores that are present. Oh, I know that shopkeeper is just racking up money because there's nothing else around, So it's kind of funny. It's interesting. There were also neighborhood schools. I noticed there were government schools in each neighborhood. So that's how you know. Yeah, it's pretty predominantly Emirati as well. There were no others like other like private schools in those areas. They were government schools. So that's a clear sign that they were government, Emirati areas. Same as Saudi's the same way. There are public schools in each neighborhood. There were no private schools in the Saudi suburbs, but you saw government schools in each section. So yeah, those are the things that I observed. So many families have come here and they're going to Dubai and they don't know exactly where to go. So they find themselves in situations where They're living a lot with non-Muslims, and they're seeing things that they don't want to see, nor do they want their children to see, and it's not family friendly at all. So they're booking hotels in these areas in Dubai, online, of course. And I just want to make sure I mention something. I want to put something out there for you all to think about. Who is advertising, or who does the most reviews about Dubai? You know, reviewing it, putting it out there, calling to it, bragging about it. Most of the time, there are non-Muslims doing it. So many times when we are thinking about Dubai, you don't think Islam. Why? Because Muslims are not the ones who are promoting it in that way, unless it is something like, the UAE promoting the expo or something that's going on here. But for the most part, the non-Muslims are talking about Dubai all the time. The non-Muslims are always talking about it. So subconsciously and unconsciously, some people, they're booking a trip here. They know there are Muslims here, but they are drawn to Dubai because of the promotion of the non-Muslims, and not the promotion of the Muslims. Because when they come here, they're complaining that they're not seeing Muslims. They can't even find messages half of the time. So I would suggest, be very careful about booking hotels in Dubai, or at least do a search for where are the messages near your hotel before you book. But I think that will be quite frustrating if you come all the way this way, and maybe you're used to praying in the masjid every day, or 5 times a day, or however many times you're able, depending on some people's work schedules or whatever the situation may be. Come all the way to a Muslim country, and you can't hear the adhan close to you, or you have to search for a masjid. Like, that has to be frustrating. So I would suggest actually booking a hotel in Sharjah. Sharjah, of course, is governed by a different ruler, and the Islamic presence is can be felt more and seen actually. In Dubai, it was created for it to be a business hub of the world. So everyone is there, non-Muslims and from everywhere, who are drawn to that place for money and wealth, and that's what you get. So you can't be disappointed when you are visiting a place that was marketed and promoted in a way that it was not promoted by trying to draw the people in for Islam. That's not what it's promoted for. So that should be taken into consideration. When you are booking a hotel in Dubai, you don't know what you're going to be faced with when you walk outside of your hotel room. Many people are being faced with having bars next to their hotels, and if they want to get something to drink or something like that, or they want to find coffee, they'll enter into this place and see that there's alcohol there, and even pork being sold. But it'll say things like, oh, no Muslims allowed. You know what I mean? Here in the UAE, just to clarify, yes, there is alcohol here, and I'm not saying that that's right, but I mean, it's alcohol in almost every Muslim country except for Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. I'm not saying that it's correct. I'm just stating a fact. And but here in UAE, you must have a license to sell it, and you have to be non-Muslim, and a non-Muslim has to have a license to buy it, and a Muslim is not allowed to buy it at all. So, I mean, those who want to say, well, why does it even exist in the first place? Listen, I'm not a ruler. May Allah preserve the rulers and grant them continuous guidance. That's not my place. You know what I mean? Stay away from alcohol. And they gave the kuffar room to do whatever they're doing for whatever reason. Allah knows best. But, I don't think that a person should just come full blast criticizing, well, that's crazy. Why is it blah, blah, blah? I mean, alcohol has always existed throughout the history of the Muslims being Muslim countries. So, you know, yeah, it's just reality. You read the history books, you read the books from the Imams, Imam al-Dhahabi specifically, Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. You had the Muslims who were drinking alcohol. So it's always existed. I don't know the fiqh behind it, letting it happen or whatever. I don't know. But that's not my place. I'm not a ruler. And nor am I going to look to the rulers to criticize them or say anything about that. As long as you're a Muslim and you know to stay away from it, fine. And they have blocked the Muslims for participating in it, then this is, these are measures that are good. And you don't find these things actually in Emirati neighborhoods. The non-Muslims are pushed to a certain quarter, and when you are in those areas, you feel like you don't belong there. You actually feel it. It's like you're in another world. It feels very awkward, and they look at you like you don't belong there. Really, sisters have come to the UAE and complained, saying things, for example, like like if they go to Jumeirah Beach, for example, they're like, oh, they're looking at me strange because what are you doing in Jumeirah Beach all fully covered with your face covered and wearing all black? There's no one dressed like you here. So, of course, this is their domain, and you make them feel funny by being covered like that. They don't see people who look like you. They're there to party and, take off their clothes. So, of course, you're going to feel awkward. You don't go in those arenas. Don't go in the marina and the Jumeirah and all of those places. It's very awkward and uncomfortable. But yeah, that's present. But just wanted to make some clarity that there is Muslims are not allowed to buy it or sell it. Same thing for pork. They're not allowed to buy it or sell it. So, what else? Let me see. Yeah, so Sharjah, I would suggest booking a hotel in Sharjah. And, of course, read the reviews. But you're going to find masajid. You're going to get more of an Islamic feel and a more pleasurable stay, I believe. And just go to Dubai and do your activities. That's what I say. Dubai has its conservative areas, but again, these are residential areas outside of the city. And tourists are not going there. Many tourists, of course, they don't know that those places exist. Why would they? If they're coming for attractions and have fun, they're not going to know that those places exist. So I suggest Sharjah. You get city life, you get some tourism, you get what do you call it? Yeah, there are activities there, and you're right in the middle. Many of the hotels are right in the middle of that, and you get to see Muslims covered and, masajid everywhere. It's a better Islamic vibe in Sharjah because Sharjah is not Dubai, and nor is it trying to be Dubai, nor has it advertised itself as Dubai, nor are people calling to Sharjah. No one's like, oh, yes, Sharjah is, you must visit Sharjah and, for your business or whatever. I don't know how those promotions go, but no one's promoting Sharjah for what they promote Dubai for. So you have to treat each emirate according to what they're upon, and you cannot make Dubai a place that is geared towards, religious conservative Muslims. That place was not made to remind you of being conservative, to remind you of being religious. And ironically so, the religious organizations and centers are more in Dubai, and the religious efforts being disseminated are more in Dubai because of the high a number of distractions, I would say, in the country. So a lot of classes, Islamic classes, go on in Dubai. Contrary to popular belief. So, and there are Quran schools in Dubai as well, all throughout Sharjah, all throughout Ajman, but they are in Dubai, and they are mainly in the suburban areas. I'm not sure if they are like in the inner cities. I'm not sure about that. I can't speak on it. However, I know for a fact because I've driven past some while we were in Dubai, and also, just learning about different facilities here and how to find them and things like that. So UAE has what you need. You just have to come here and know what you want or have an idea. It's not like the West, where it's community. This is a whole Islamic society. So you can't come here thinking, oh yeah, where's this particular community, and where are the people, and for example, these groups of people or those groups of people. Individuals are here living their lives. They have their children in school. They're all scattered about. Those religious people who you want to get with, you have to network with people in order to link with them. But the UAE is not, any Muslim country is not like a community back in the West, because you're in a secular society that pushes you into a box, a religious box. And we've learned to function that way. So then people have expectations, or they don't know how it is overseas. As a matter of fact, they're thinking of overseas as a larger community, but it's not like that. This is a society. If you've never lived in a Muslim society before, then you're going to have to make some mental and emotional adjustments to how to maneuver, and you can't be afraid to, open up and, spread your wings and fly, so to say. You can literally breathe. You can open your chest and your mind, and you can go far. But you don't have to limit yourself like we have to be so cautious in the West. So please like, share, and subscribe this video. So we've come to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Ma'assalama.